You ever have one of those days where one tiny, super annoying thing just completely messes up your whole plan? Well, we're going to look at a really simple story that has a huge lesson about exactly that. Let's dive in. So, as we go through this, I want you to keep this one big question in your head. What if that one thing about you that drives you crazy is actually your secret weapon? Okay, so let's set the scene. Our story kicks off how a lot of these stories do, with our heroes squaring off against a pretty famous villain. An alarm's just gone off in a library, of all places, and things are about to get real. The players are pretty straightforward. You've got our hero, Spidey, and Miles Morales just trying to stop the bad guy. And on the other side, you've got the Green Goblin, who's up to no good, as usual. His goal this time? He's hunting for a seriously dangerous legendary weapon. And this is the prize, the Power Sword. We're told this thing isn't a joke. It can destroy anything. So yeah, the stakes are super high. There is no way our heroes can let Goblin get his hands on this thing. Now, the heroes, they've got a plan. It's a good one too. Miles is going to use his invisibility to sneak up on the Green Goblin. Solid strategy, right? But then something happens that nobody could have possibly planned for. Yep, you heard me. Hiccups. Miles is all set to web up the Green Goblin and... hiccup, he totally gives himself away. The surprise is blown. Goblin uses that moment of confusion to make a run for it, escaping the library to keep looking for that sword. The entire plan totally ruined by hiccups. And you can just imagine how Miles feels. He is crushed. He doesn't just see it as a random unlucky thing. He sees it as a personal failure, like he's the one who let everybody down. But this low point, it's actually where things start to turn around. Because this is where Miles gets a really important piece of advice from his more seasoned partner. And this right here, this is the heart of the whole story. Spidey's advice is so simple but so powerful. It's not about being perfect and never messing up. It's about being flexible. Don't get hung up on the plan that fell apart, just make a new one. And this is where it gets really cool. As Miles is dealing with these annoying hiccups, he finds out something incredible. Every single time he hiccups, it accidentally triggers his bioelectric arachno-stinging power. So this thing that was just a nuisance suddenly has this hidden, powerful side to it. So with Spidey's advice buzzing in his head and this crazy new discovery, you can practically see the light bulb go on for Miles. He starts to look at this whole hiccup problem in a totally new way. I mean, look at this mental shift. It's huge. He goes from, my hiccups are going to ruin everything, to, wait a second, what if my hiccups could be the plan? It's the same problem, but he's completely flipped his perspective on it. All right, so the team tracks the sword to a museum, but Goblin is already there. So Miles puts his new kind of crazy idea into motion. He turns invisible and starts pretending to be a ghost. And then, and this is the best part, he uses the hiccup zaps to create these spooky electrical effects. It totally freaks out the Green Goblin, who thinks the place is actually haunted. And guess what? It works like a charm. The terrified Goblin drops the power sword, Miles snags it, saves his friends, and they capture the villain. The one thing, the hiccups, that Miles thought was his biggest failure, ended up being the exact thing that saved the day. So what's the big idea here? It's obviously more than just a fun story about a superhero with hiccups. It's a really powerful metaphor for how we deal with our own problems. So let's break it down. First, an obstacle isn't always just an obstacle. Sometimes it's an opportunity in disguise. Miles's hiccups looked like a disaster, but they were actually the key. Second, just changing how you look at a problem is a massive tool. Once Miles stopped seeing his hiccups as a failure, he could see what they could be. And that led to this amazing creative solution. He didn't just get around his weakness, he turned it into his most unique and powerful strength. And that kind of leaves us with one last thought. We all have our own hiccups, right? Those weird quirks, setbacks, or things about us we wish we could change. But what if, like Miles, we tried to look at them differently? What's the thing you think is your biggest weakness that might just be waiting for a new plan to become your greatest superpower?